Hello, everybody, and welcome to the We Were Athletes Once podcast. We are episode 22 tonight, and we're back talking about hockey. I'm Cody, and I'm back with Julian. Um, Good news, they liked us last week. We got more views than almost every other video we've done, so we did something right. So we're back again with hockey, and as we are recording, one game has officially been played, and the second game is live in the third period right now. So I don't know about you, but it feels good to have real hockey again.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to watch it again. The first game was, honestly, you saw a lot there. Blackhawks, they put up a decent fight against a really hurt Panthers team, but they got outplayed. You look at the shots, wasn't fair, but Spencer Knight looked amazing.
He
I hate
did.
to
He
say it
looked
as a Blues fan. He looks
yeah
really
he
good.
he looked like Spencer Knight that rookie year of Florida
Yep,
before all those issues where you thought he was the next big thing, and
yep,
that could be
he's so
something that
good.
kickstarts Chicago, but they're where they belong, the bottom of
Yep.
the Central. Um, which we will get to our predictions in our season preview of what's going to happen today. But before we get to that, we got to talk about the big news. Last week we said one of the biggest stories of the season was going to be Connor McDavid in that contract situation, and is he staying? Is he going? And we found out the other day for at least 2 more years after this year, he is going to be in Edmonton. He signed the 2 year, $12.5 million deal. Um, were you shocked, and how did you feel about the length and the money that he was getting?
I'm shocked it happened so fast. I expected it to happen, kind of. I would have liked to see a move in the league, something cool happen. But I think the term was the more, or not the term, the money was more
Mhm.
shocking for what we've seen recent. Kaprizov got 17 million, and then McDavid comes out and only gets 12.5 for 2 years. The term I think is fine. I think it's either I'm winning or I'm leaving. If we don't win while I'm here, I'm gone. I'll give you 2 more years to prove that we can build a team around what we have, and if it doesn't happen, I'm gone. I want to change the scenery, something new.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked by the money, just like you, seeing what Kaprizov just got, and then him taking that. Um, Different team, different cap
Yeah.
issues that they've got there. But I agree with you. I think that this is one where the term, the length that he got, and taking that discounted contract really said, "Hey, I want us to go all in and go for it, and if it doesn't happen, I might have to leave."
Yeah.
So I really do feel like this year and the two following years are Edmonton's last window before he's like, I'm out. So I do agree with you on that. I think that's going to be interesting to watch. But now we don't have to worry all season, talk about it all year.
Yeah.
What's Edmonton going to do? Where's McDavid going? And right after that, with some of that cap savings, they went out and they locked up Jake Wallman at a 7 year, $7 million contract as well. We know him well
Yep.
from his time in St. Louis. Um, he had a good stint after he struggled some in San Jose. They basically paid Detroit to take him. He looked pretty decent there. He goes to Edmonton, and he was a big part of that defense in the playoffs. So um, if he can keep looking like the player that he has the last 2 years in Detroit and Edmonton, that contract's going to look really good in a few years.
I think the values, right? I don't really like how long they signed him for. He's kind of old now. That cap hit won't really matter with the cap rising in the coming years and how it's already risen. But giving Jake Wallman 7 years, it locks up defense. But I don't think they still are missing that elite D-man they need to take it that final step forward to actually win the cup.
Yeah,
He's a great defenseman. It just I don't think he fills in exactly what they need there.
yeah, I see him. He's a good defenseman.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we're going to see good defensemen that second pairing type of guys start to get the $7 million, not with the cap going up. Um, I think Edmonton is just praying that Evan Bouchard um, becomes what they think he's going to become,
Yeah.
and I'm not sold on it.
No.
There is so much lacking in his defensive game. It's too much offense, not enough defense, and that can't be your number one defenseman.
No.
Um, I think they look at him and they're like, well, look around the league at who's getting paid and who are those number one guys, and and they're looking at the Quinn Hughes and the Cale Makars, but they've got more defense than that. They're elite skaters who do a really good job of gap control. They got good sticks and good reach with it, and they cut off the man before they can come into the middle of the ice. And I think they do a really good job on defense in ways that Evan Bouchard just can't do.
Not at all. I think
So
Bouchard's a turnover machine too.
he
You see the low lights and it's pretty bad. They'll lose games because he'll just drop the puck off in their defensive zone.
they straight up lost playoff games last year because
Yep.
of it. So I know it's what defensemen are getting now, but I don't know. I think some of these contracts, we've come to the point of where they're trying to lock up these young players long term on the big deals to try and save a little bit in the long run and taking those risks. I think we're going to see a lot of these contracts from the last 2 years into what we're doing now start to bite teams in the butt. So we'll see. I think there's some other players that we're going to see get some extensions locked up in some point soon. There's lots of good young players that are looking for deals and not bridge deals. So we'll keep an eye out on those. But let's get into the meat of what we want to talk about today. Regular season. It is here. It is underway. Currently, Pittsburgh is up 1-0 on the Rangers. 5 minutes into the third period. We already talked about how Florida got a late goal to beat Chicago, but Chicago put up a pretty decent fight. If you just look at the score, it looks a lot better than it was for a lot of the game. But I do think Chicago came on late and looked pretty decent. And it may be a little concerning for Florida. They didn't have as much offensive drive without Kachuk and Barkov in that lineup. So it's going to be an interesting season for them, at least until January, if not even longer, because Barkov will be out for the whole season. So
Yep.
it's going to be interesting. So let's start there. Let's start with their division. We're going to start in the East. We'll move our way to the West, but let's start in that Florida's division out there in the Atlantic. I think we probably have a consensus of who the worst team in the Atlantic is going to be.
Yep. Maybe.
The worst run franchise in hockey.
Yep.
And that would be the Buffalo Sabres.
Yep.
I just don't see, with what Buffalo did this offseason, them being any better. You know, you traded away a young stud, and you got pennies on the dollar back for him. I didn't understand the trade at the time. Still doesn't make sense to me. You're moving J.J. Peterka, who is like 22 and had like a 30-goal season. Like, what are we doing here? So I didn't like it. I don't ever know what's going on in Buffalo. They got a right-handed defenseman back, which is what they really want because they're so left-handed heavy, but I don't know what's going on there. They just need to sell that team because someone else needs to run that organization.
Yep. Yep.
After that, I think this division gets a little interesting. Who you got after Buffalo?
I've got the Bruins sitting there.
As do I. They looked rough last season, and there's no other way to put that. They traded off some pieces, and I don't think they restocked all that much, to be honest.
Not at all.
You know, you still got Pasta, but what else do you have, really?
I mean, they just paid Swayman. I think it was an 8x8. They signed him last year, and he looked brutal
Yes,
to
he
start
did.
the season. He got a little bit better as the season went on, but that's not what you want out of a goalie. You're paying $8 million.
Yeah, I hate paying goalies the huge money, especially for those long-term contracts, because for me, goalies are like relievers in baseball. Like, you never know what you're going to get year to year. Now, there are exceptions. I think there are plenty of good goalies in the league that you look at, but, you know, even looking at a team that's playing right now, like after Shesterkin won the Vezina, he hasn't been good since then, and he got that like $10.5 million contract, and it's been rough. So I hate paying goalies huge money. I'd rather have two solid guys in the net that you can rely on either on any given day. But yeah, I just don't think Boston has a whole lot left.
No.
I think it's time for the rebuild to happen, and I think they're kind of starting to figure that out. But if they really want to kickstart this, you move Pasta.
Yep.
Um,
Sure. That
It,
hurts for
it
them.
does. It does. That's the heart and soul of that team now that, you've lost Bergie, you've lost Marchand, you've lost, half the team at this point.
Yeah.
Um, so losing him would be hard, but if you know it's happening and you've got to rebuild, there's one way to do it, and the best way to do it is to move him for a deep ransom because that's what you get.
Yep.
I think the top six in this division get really interesting.
I think so as well.
I think all six could potentially make the playoffs, maybe five more than the six.
I have
Um,
Ford making it in their division.
I do as well. Who's your number six? Because I think this might be my cutoff to where maybe a fifth team in this division gets in, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure yet. So
I
who do
have
you
the
got?
Red Wings sitting there in the sixth place spot.
Yeah, so do I. I just don't know with Detroit. Um, they seemed like they were kind of on the up, and then they took a step back, and then it was we're going to trade for Carlson this offseason and shore up the back end, and that never came to fruition. And I think that's probably a good thing for them.
Oh yeah.
But they're also starting three rookies this year, so um, that to me screams a little bit of retool. We still need a couple more years, so I wasn't willing to move them up as much. Um, and then I, and then I don't know about you, but I just can't put Montreal any higher than five.
I've got Montreal higher. I've got the Senators sitting at
You got the
five.
Senators here, okay.
Yeah.
So this is our first difference. So 6, 7, 8, we're good. I've
Yep.
got Montreal at five. I think they have endless talent on this team. They are so good offensively, skill out the wazoo. Ivan Demidov is an absolute stud. Lane Hudson in the back end has so much flash and skill back there. Um, and Marty St. Louis is a great mind, and I think he's one of the best upcoming coaches right now.
Oh, yeah.
My only problem with Montreal is they were so bad defensively last year. Um, so I worry about the back end and I worry about the goaltending some. Um, and I think that's ultimately that and their youth, I think, is what I'm going to keep them out. I think they're.
Mhm.
My problem also is I think if this is a team that gets in the playoff, they're too small. They're going to get pushed around. And so I worry about that, but that doesn't mean it can't translate in
Yeah.
the regular season. So this is a team that I am very interested in what Montreal looks like this year because I could see those young kids just being phenomenal together and taking a big step, but I could also see that defense just crumbling.
Yep. I have the Senators there because I see it's a really tough division. I think it's probably the second hardest division in hockey. But they've got pieces there. I just don't think they're all the way there yet. They've got Shabbat back there on the D. He's pretty solid. And then you've got Kachuk and Stutzla, who I really like watching.
He's so
So
much fun.
he's fun to watch. I think they're almost there to where they're going to be a consistent playoff team. But Olmark's also great, but he's getting up there in age as well. But I think the Senators, I think they sneak into a playoff spot in a wild card position.
So you've got five in this division
Yep,
making the playoffs. All
I
right.
do.
This was my debate was between five here and three in the other, or if I had four and four, and I still not sure what I want to do. Um, yeah, I've got them higher. Um, I think I like what they did on defense. I'm a big fan of Thomas Shabbat. Um, I think Jake Sanderson's going to have a big year. I think this is going to be his coming out year. And I really like the addition of Jordan Spence. They
Yeah.
got him for almost nothing. I like what he brings to the table. He just there wasn't playing time in LA for him. They had too many right-handed shot defensemen, and they were all young. Um, and then Artem Zub is just a solid rock back there. That's stay-at-home defenseman. You don't have to worry about it. He's going to play a good game. Um, and I think that offense is going to start figuring it out. I like that they added some veterans in this. You've got Perron back. You brought in like a Lars Eller to go along with a Claude Giroux. Just some of those guys that have been there and done that. Um, and I'm going to shock you a little bit. I have them at three.
Three.
I
Wow.
think they made the playoffs last year, and I think they got a taste. And I think the way they play a more of a physical, hard-nosed type of game. And I think with the additions that they had at D, I think this is a team that I think is going to be a little sneaky this year. So I've got them at 3. My interesting one, I probably is at 4. I have the Florida Panthers.
I have them there as well.
I think this is going to be a rough year for them, and I think watching that first game kind of solidified that for me.
Yep.
I had them there before then. I was debating what I wanted to do with them, if I was going to flip them with Ottawa. Um, but, I mean, they're a good team. They have all the pieces still. They're experienced, but you're taking the heart and soul out of that team.
Yep.
So I just think this is going to be a struggle for them this year.
I agree with that. They're missing. I mean, if you watch that first game, you still see flashes of what their offense is. It's not, the finishing is not there without Barkov and Kachuk to help out along the way to create that open space for Reinert and Verhege. So the defense still looked pretty solid. Most of the game there was a few hiccups there for Nazar's first goal, that breakaway. But I think Seth Jones can maybe take a bigger step there and play better than he did in Chicago. But the Panthers, it's interesting. It's always interesting there with missing 2 key guys. I think they're still definitely a playoff team just because of how their division looks. I think they sneak in there, but I don't see them making a deep run this year, even with Kachuk back.
Yeah, that one's hard. And like you said, that offense from those other guys, it makes a world of difference when Kachuk's driving the net and he's annoying everybody on the ice and they're focused on him, and it just opens up the slot for players. So I agree. I'm not going to count them out of the playoffs yet, or making a deep run into the playoffs. I think it's going to be more difficult this year, but I think that getting Kachuk back, and if there's any chance that Barkov has a chance to come back in the playoffs, I'm not counting him out just experience alone. I am less high on Seth Jones than you are. I don't think he's very good. I think we saw what he really was the past several years. But we'll see. I think they're a good team, but I think this is a step back year.
Yeah.
So you have Montreal at 3 then.
I do.
All right, so we flipped our Canadian teams in this one.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me about Montreal. What's your love with them?
I love the Noah Dobson ad. I think that adds a big core piece to their defense, who's experienced playoffs won, but also has a pretty decent tenure with the Islanders. He had a bad year last year, I will say that, but before that he was I think he put up 60 points, and they don't really need help on the offensive side of defense. They've Lane Hudson doing that, but I think he's a really good piece they added, and I think it's Caulfield's breakout year. I think we've been saying it for years. I think he's finally scoring 40 goals, especially with the help they have on offense. Demidov looks amazing. Suzuki's going to have another great year. He's like a Robert Thomas, same type of player. He's a guy you want on your team. He does everything right, and I think they're going to take steps with Martin St. Louis, coaching the team as well. The goaltending can be shaky, but I kind of have to be pretty high on it because I went to high school with one of their goalies, their backup goalie.
You went with Dobes?
Jacob Dobes, yep. Went to high school with him, so I've got to be high on that.
And he had a pretty solid year last year when he came up, so that's pretty cool. Dobson actually put up 70 2 years ago. He had 60 assists and 10 goals in that season, so he's got the offense. I think Evan Bouchard is a fairly close comparison. I do think he has some better defensive skills when it comes to closing the gap and using his stick. I like it more. There was a lot of talk this last offseason, or before the season, about, or like the Blues, we got to get a right-handed defenseman. These are guys that are on the table. Like, what are you willing to give up for Dobson, or are you willing to offer Sheed Bouchard? And a lot of people love the numbers with Bouchard, but I'm like, man, I don't see the defense, but I do see a little bit more with Dobson. So I am a lot higher on him than Bouchard, but I think there's some similarities there. So I'm not willing to say they don't need a little more defensive help. And honestly, I would be good if they went and just got a couple stay-at-home defensemen, put one with Hudson, put one with Bouchard, and rolled those 2 defensive pairs. It would do a lot for my confidence in that D, but I think it still needs some work.
Yeah.
Who's starting in Montreal? Is it Montembeault?
Montembeault, yep.
Yeah, so he's looked good over the last few years. There's just something about it that I worry about
Yeah.
still. Um, but like I said, I think 3, 4, 5 are all going to be interesting, and it's going to be a battle.
Yep.
I think the top two are
Could flip.
far and away the best two.
Yep.
Um, who you got one? Who you got two?
I've got Maple Leafs 1, and I've got Lightning at 2.
As do I. A lot of people talking about how Toronto's going to struggle this year without Mitch Marner, how Austin Matthews can't produce without him. But if you look at his numbers, Matthews produces at a higher rate without Mitch Marner.
Yep.
So looking at those things, I'm never going to bet against Chief. He's an awesome coach. He gets guys to work hard. He puts them in good positions. Um, he holds them accountable, and I think without Marner, I think it opens up some spots where I really want to see what like Matthew Nyes can do with an extended role. I think Nick Robertson has earned a spot on this team, and I'd like to see him play on that third line. Um, I just want to see them be grittier, and that's ultimately what's been their downfall in the playoffs. They're soft, and that's the exact opposite of a Craig Berube team. So. I'm excited to see what they look like this year, see what lines they end up rolling. Um, but I think it's going to be close with Tampa.
Yeah.
I'm fairly high on Tampa this year, and they've had a couple of down seasons for them, but they've still been very good. And
Yeah.
I still think Andre Vasilevsky is one of the top 3 goalies in the world. So anytime you've got someone like that backstopping you, it's hard to bet against them.
Yes.
All right, so recap real quick. You have Toronto, Tampa, Montreal, Florida, Ottawa, Detroit, Boston, Buffalo.
Yep.
And the only difference is me and you have 3 and 5 switched. I have Montreal at 5 and Ottawa at 3.
Yep.
And as we talk about this more, I'll probably change my mind a little bit of who's going to make the playoffs. But we at least know Toronto and Tampa for both of us are making it, and Florida we have making it.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to the Metro.
I think there's a clear person in the team in the bottom.
I think there's 2 clear teams in the bottom. Who do you have at very last?
I have the Penguins there.
Yeah, I think the Penguins are the worst team in hockey.
Yeah. They're winning right now, I think,
They're still up 1-0. I've got the game on. They're still up 1-0, but that doesn't mean anything to me. This is a team that has hung on for way too long because they've got the 3 guys who are the longest tenured players in sports history together in Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. And they just keep trying to keep that window open. What good is the window staying open if you're not even making the playoffs?
Exactly.
Like, this is a team that should have sold a couple of years ago. Crosby's debated wanting out. Malkin's at the end of his contract. Like, trade him. Don't let him just walk or retire for nothing. Why you went out and got Erik Karlsson and with all that money and contract was beyond me. You're going to lose your only decent players that you have. So we watched players like Jake Gensel walk out the door. Like, you can't do that and be a winning franchise. So I don't like what Pittsburgh's done. I think they're going to struggle hard this year. The only positive of things they've done this offseason is I do like that they went out and got Arthur Shelovs. He's looked good today. I like what he can potentially do for them as their goalie of the future. So there's my one positive for Pittsburgh. Outside of that, I don't have any. Pittsburgh's interesting. They're starting. They've got 2 rookies starting, and we've got our first player from the 2025 draft in an NHL game. Game 1, Ben Kindle is starting for the Pittsburgh Penguins. That is a shock to me. But with this team, their offense isn't great. You got to put something there. And he did look good in preseason. 6 points in 6 games. He's a hard worker. He's a gritty guy. I like his play. He's a little bit of a smaller guy, but does a little bit of everything. So good for him.
Yep.
7th, I've got the Islanders.
I have the Islanders as well.
I'm interested to see how many young guys they have in this lineup.
Yep.
I didn't look at their starting opening night roster if they posted it or not.
I don't know.
But I want to see Matthew Schaefer in this lineup.
I think I saw something he made the opening night roster.
They just haven't had offense for years.
Nope.
And while I like Matthew Schaefer should have been the first pick in that draft. Like he was clearly the best player.
Yeah.
I wanted them to trade back, get a little extra, another first or something, take, the hometown kid,
Yeah.
who's a center in James Higgins, and then pick up another defenseman in there, and then you can have the best of both worlds. But
Yeah.
they stuck, they picked. It is what it is. I just don't see this team having enough offense to be able to compete.
I agree.
Who else?
They're old.
They are. Like, you look at this, and Matthew Barzell's not young anymore.
Nope.
Jonathan Drouin's old at this point.
Very old.
Bo Horvat's not young.
Mhm.
I want to see like Callum Ritchie. I want to see what's his name, Iserman. I want to see these young kids come up and get a chance because that's your core. And if you're not going to compete, and they've done everything they can down in the minors, like let them learn, give them that shot. So that could be a fun team to watch. If they let the kids play, I'll be interested. I'll tune into those games because I want to watch the prospects play. I think 5 and 6. I think 4, 5, and 6 is another tier. I think there's a bottom 2. I think there's a middle 3, and I think there's a top 3 in this division. What do you have for 4, 5, and 6? What's your order?
So 4, I have Rangers, then I have Capitals, then Flyers.
Really? Okay, ours are a little different. I have a different middle 3.
Okay.
I have Rangers at 4.
Okay.
I have Columbus at 5.
Really?
And I have Philly at 6. I think. Who did you say you had at 5?
Capitals.
Capitals. I think the Capitals are going to be good. I like their strong play. I like how they play the game. Ovi in the beginning years kind of took crap for how he played in his leadership, but I think he's one of the better captains in hockey. He leads by examples. He is not afraid to throw a hit and get in the middle of everything, and he's still going to put up 30, 40 goals. Oh, Penguins just scored again. So I like that, and I'm really excited to watch Ryan Leonard play and get consistent time because he looked good at the end of last year, and I love how he plays the game. Watching him play in juniors was awesome. So I think they've got a couple of young guys that are going to be fun, but I see I have the Capitals at 3. I do have the Rangers at 4. They struggled last year. There's no way around it. They did not have a great year. They're looking for a bounce back. Lafreniere was not great, and you got to have him be good. I'm a little interested to see how their defense holds up with all of the changes that they made. They traded a lot of pieces out. They moved a few guys in. So there's that. And then which Shesterkin are we going to get? Because if we get the best version of him, that might be the best goalie in hockey. Yeah. If we get what we've had the last couple of years, it's mediocre. So the Rangers are a little bit of a wild card to me. I battled with them in Columbus for 5, for 4 and 5. I like the young kids in Columbus. I think they're going to be better. I still worry about goaltending is my biggest issue with them. Have they announced who's starting for them?
I don't believe
so. Is it going to be Jet Greaves, the young kid? Because I think
they announced Merzlikins.
Okay. Merzlikins is just too hit or miss for me. He could be good and he can be just awful, and there's not really an in between for him. I think before this season is done, I think Jet Greaves takes that net and runs with it because I think he's got a lot of potential. He looked solid when he came up last year, so I'm excited to see him get at least 30 games, hopefully. This better be a 1A, 1B type of situation and not it's Merzlikins net because they're that pushes them further from 4 than if they have a good split.
Yeah.
So I do like Columbus. They've got a lot of young guys, and I like their back end with Werenski, Severson, Provorov, Matejchuk, Fabro had a good year last year. Like that's a solid 5 right there,
Yeah.
and then you just got to figure out a 6, which is fine. Like it's probably going to be Eric Branson. But looking at that offense, there's not a lot that just stands out with just extreme skill. You've got Fantilli, you've like Chinikov is more of that outside wing sniper for you.
Yep.
Kent Johnson's pretty decent, and then Dmitry Voronkov is so underrated. If he was not in Columbus, it would be a bigger name in hockey.
Yep.
He is nasty. But the rest of that lineup, man, Miles Wood, Cole Sillinger, Matthew Olivier. I mean, Sean Monahan's getting older, but he's a two-way guy. Kirill Marchenko, Boone Jenner, Charlie Coyle. Like, they're going to beat you up. Like, that's not going to be a fun lineup to play against. They are going to be heavy. Like, that's an old school, like, LA Kings, old school Blues when they want. Like, it's not going to be a fun lineup to play against. Man, now that I'm looking at it, I'm switching it. Columbus is my 4 now. Forget that. Columbus is going there. That lineup is good. But again, it's going to come down to goaltending for me.
Yeah.
I really want Jack Greaves to take the net because I think that team can be something fun to play against. And if they sneak into the playoffs, that is not going to be a fun team to play.
Yeah.
That's a roster built for the playoffs.
They're one of those teams where I feel like they might take a step, even though they're getting older. Their defense is pretty solid. They have the young guys up on the offense though. I think they're one of those teams that has like a over expectation year and makes it in the playoff. Might even steal a round. I don't think they're going deep in the playoffs if I have them making it, but I think they're going to have a decent year.
Yeah,
and I have 3 teams making it to the playoffs from this division.
So you've got Washington out of the playoffs.
Yep. I wouldn't say I don't like Logan Thompson. I don't think he can do what he did last year.
What happens if I don't know, they sign Carter Hart and it's a 1-2 like that?
That could be interesting. Interesting.
I don't think he's going there.
No.
We haven't heard any news. We talked about it last week. We haven't heard any news, but I think if you get a decent tandem in there, I agree with you. Logan Thompson's just
he played out of his mind last year.
Yeah, he's okay for me because I like you. I don't think he's going to hold up. It's almost like, and as a Blues fan, I hate saying this because he's come a long way. Like that first year of Jordan Binnington, he just was out of his mind and he stood on his head, and then you saw a regression.
Yeah.
And you're like, where was that other guy? And now he's finally getting back to it.
Yeah.
So I definitely see a regression out of Logan Thompson.
You've seen it happen when he was on the Golden Knights. He was very impressive that first year he played there. I think he was a backup to Fleury at the start. But when Fleury left, he became a starter, and then he looked great for a while, and then he just fell off, and then Aiden Hill took over there. Yeah. And
you can't let your draft.
That's why he was playing out of his mind again last year. He was fighting for a new contract. He just got it. He got an extension there. I believe it was around. It was a good one.
That's what I was going to bring up. I feel like some of these guys are guys that they have to have a guy pushing them. Mm-hmm. And I think Binnington was kind of like that. He didn't have anyone pushing him. It was his net. And he started to regress. And now that you've seen him have a capable backup that could play, you start to see those guys pick it back up. And like last year, it was a contract year. You see that extra motivation. But I do see him regressing this year, just like you. But I still like Washington at 3. There's just something about that team. I like how they play. I'm not betting against Ovi yet.
I wouldn't bet against Ovi. I think they kind of played off of the beat Gretzky's energy last year.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Tom Wilson's still, as much as you hate to play against him, he puts up points too. He's just a good hockey player, even though he's nasty and dirty sometimes. Yeah, looking at this roster, there's things left to be desired. But they also have that young core coming up, so we'll see what Hendrix Lapierre, Ivan Marashchenko, Connor McMichael's still semi-young. who else are they? Andrew Cristall, I think, is going to get some playing time this year. Um, which again, I look back at that draft and I don't understand how he went as late as he did with as much skill as he has. I know he's like 5'7", but kid is a stud. So it'll be interesting. I think they've got a good mix of old and young, and gritty and skill, and there's just something about that team that I like. So we'll find out. And then I do think the top two are. I think the top one is above everybody by quite a bit. At 2, I've got New Jersey.
Yep, so do I.
Haven't talked about this. They got the deal done to get Luke Hughes signed.
Yep.
I believe it was 7x9 or 8x9, something like that.
It was 8x9.
So Luke got paid. Jack's been paid. It's time for Quinn to come on over.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun whenever it happens because it's inevitably going to happen because Vancouver's a dumpster fire. But I like that team. If Jack Hughes can stay healthy, I think this is a very good team now that they've got a solid goalie back there.
Yeah.
Markstrom can hold down the fort and let those guys do what they want.
Oh, yeah.
So I think this is a team that they took a step last year. I think they're going to take another step this year. But with the division as weak as it is, honestly, this is probably the weakest division along with the Pacific in hockey. I think, honestly, Carolina probably wins the President's Trophy this year.
Yeah.
Carolina's maybe the best regular season hockey team there is that does not know how to win in the playoffs.
Yep.
I would love for them to make a run this year. I love Rod Brind'Amour. I love what he brings. I wasn't quite around for his time with the Blues, but those ties are there. So I love Rod the Bod. I can't wait to watch this team. I hope he brings some more of that nasty. Like we talked about last week, this is just a team that I don't know how they are under the cap and they keep getting stud players.
Always.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Always.
So Metro, you've got Carolina, New Jersey, and Columbus.
Yep, making the playoffs.
And then Rangers and Washington are your next 2 out.
Yep.
Okay. I'm looking at this now. I've got Toronto, Tampa, Ottawa, Florida as my 4 from the Atlantic. I'm going to take Columbus. I'm going to leave Montreal out. I'm going to take Columbus. I'm going to keep Carolina, New Jersey, Washington as Columbus as being my 4. Yeah. So we're going to get, based on ours, we're going to get playoff matchups of Tampa Bay and Ottawa in the first round. No, you have Montreal. Montreal, yeah. Tampa for you. I have Ottawa, Tampa. I think both of us are going to pick Tampa to win that one.
Yeah.
And then in the other one, the divisional matchup would be New Jersey and Columbus for you, New Jersey and Washington for me. And I think that series would be a lot more competitive than the other one.
That's what I was talking about. I think a Blue Jackets could steal a series like that with their
100%. Oh, well, and then it's going to get crazy, though, because then either Florida or Columbus for me or Florida or Montreal from you is going to take on Carolina and Toronto, and nobody wants to get Florida in the first round.
Nope.
So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Everybody's praying Florida just takes third in that division, and they don't have to worry about them.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our look at the East. Let's move over to the West and the Pacific, and I do think this is the second worst division in hockey.
Yeah.
And now that I'm looking at some of my stuff, I'm rearranging a couple of things that I don't like. I don't know why I was high on Calgary when I made this the first time, because I'm not. I think 7th and 8th are, again, a tier by themselves.
Yep.
Which team do you have ultimately finishing last?
I think the Ducks are there this year. I think the Sharks are going
to.
I think the Sharks are taking a step. I like how their offense played. I think, Askarov's going to come up and hopefully be the starter there for sure. I liked how he played. Their defense is extremely terrible and old and just horrible to look at, but they can win games. As much as I hate to say it, they've got who do they have out there? They have like John Klingberg, Nick Leddy.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's not good. That's third down there still, but I think that offense that they have and those young guys, Celebrini, Will Smith, Eklund, those are guys who are gonna start really showing what they're about, and I have them finishing 7th this year. They're still gonna be terrible, but
Okay,
I think
well,
I'm not high on the Ducks at all.
okay, well, we're way off on this one. I think the Ducks are going to be sneaky.
Okay.
I've got Vancouver in 8th.
Wow.
I think like they've got skill on that team, but that locker room is just a crap show.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
nothing good is coming out of Vancouver. They're firing good coaches. They're letting Elias Pettersson do whatever he wants and be
Yeah.
awful while he does it. They're getting ready to lose. Quinn Hughes is going to be walking in a couple of years if they don't trade him. Like I don't like their prospect pool. Like this is not a good team. And they gave Thatcher Demko a bunch of money, which when Thatcher Demko isn't hurt, he's a stud, but he's always hurt.
100%.
So, and then you traded away Arthur Shelovs as your backup, who was really good when he was there. I just don't like the drama of this team. I think is going to tear them apart. So I think after Buffalo, this is the second worst run franchise in hockey.
Yeah.
And so I'm sticking them down in the cellar.
Yeah.
Do they have more talent than 8th place? Absolutely. This Vancouver team should probably be 4th or 5th in this division.
Yeah.
But they're run so poorly and things have just gone so bad over the years that I'm just going to stick them down there and watch it burn. Then I've got San Jose at 7.
Yep.
So we're agreement on that. I love watching these kids play.
Oh yeah.
It is so much fun. There is so much offense. Like as much as Michael Misa is going to be good, they needed every part of them should have been praying that the Islanders took a forward.
Yep.
Or traded back with them because they needed Matthew Schaefer more than anyone.
Yep.
So they still have no defense, but man, are they going to be fun to watch on offense. They are flying around. They are smooth. They are skilled. Celebrini is a stud.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Will Smith up there. You've got Michael Misa now, which I didn't look at their roster to see if he made opening night, but I'm assuming he is. So you've got like 3 guys that could legit be number 1 centers. And you're going to start sticking some of these really good guys on the wings, and it's going to be filthy in a couple of years. I do think they do, like you said, I think they take a step. I think Askarov's going to come up and get his chance and play decent goal for him. I hated when Nashville made that move, but I mean, good for us, but you signed Saros to a long-term deal. I get it, but whatever.
Yeah.
So the offense is going to be good. The goaltending, he's going to have some hiccups along the way. There's going to be some growing pains, but I like what they've got there. They've got that foundation set. It really is going to come down to how much defense can they play.
Yep.
And I think it's going to depend on how these young forwards get back and back check. If they get in on there and they play a physical game, they get back, they're skating, they're moving their feet. It's not going to be as bad as we think it's going to be.
They've got guys who've played the game for a long time. They can win games.
So if I'm up and there's a San Jose game on late, I'm watching it because these kids are fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
At 6th, I have Calgary.
I have the Canucks there.
Okay, so I talked about the Canucks. You kind of agree with that.
Yeah,
they're skill, but it's a disaster.
It's not put together. They're not a team.
No,
they're a one guy.
And the one guy's dragging them down and not good.
Yep.
And he makes a lot of money. Calgary was one that when I originally did this, I had them up at 4th. But they went on a run last year that was kind of a miracle run.
Yeah.
I still don't know what they're doing with Rasmus Anderson. I don't know why he's still on the team.
Yeah.
I don't know where their scoring is going to come from. Like, I think they're a team full of good, but no great on this team.
No.
Like, your best players on offense is Nazem Kadri. Like, Jonathan Huberdeau is going to be out for a little bit. So where's your scoring going to come from? I guess you hope it's from the Philly kids that came over.
Yeah.
Farabee and Frost, like, maybe they take a step. They didn't while they were in Philly. So maybe getting an expanded role gives them that opportunity. Maybe getting out from, oh my gosh, blanking on the name. I love him as a coach. Fiery and angry all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
The name is.
but maybe getting out from under um, his control and kind of the style that he plays will help them. But there's just not a lot there that I like towards John Tortorella. That's what it is. Goaltending is still who knows what's going on there. And I think
He looked good, but
yeah, he did. He did. I forgot about Dustin Wolf. He did look very good last year.
For 1 year.
That's the thing. Like, everyone's kind of already assuming that he's the guy and he's going to keep doing it. It's 1 year. We'll see what happens. What happens when he takes on a workload of 50, 60 games several years in a row. I like him. I think he's got a lot of potential. So they've got that, but they're old with not a lot of scoring.
Their defense is really bad too.
Yeah, who do they have after Anderson?
Mackenzie Weegar, and then they have Kevin Ball, who just got an extension, I believe.
He's
Jake
just a
Dean and
defense.
Joel Hanley, who I honestly don't know who that is.
He played for the Stars and as like a 7th D man.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a great D. I do like Mackenzie Weegar a lot. I think him and Anderson are great, and then I think it's a big drop. I like Kevin Ball, but he should be like a 5'6" type of guy, not a second pairing guy. So yeah, that defense is not amazing, and like I said, I just don't know where the scoring is going to come from.
Yeah.
So I've got them down at 6. You said you had Vancouver. Do you have Seattle at 5?
I have the Flames there.
You have the Flames at 5. Okay.
I have 3 teams making the playoffs from this division as well.
As do I.
Yeah.
I've got Seattle here. Do you want to talk about them, or do you want to talk about?
I can talk about them. I don't particularly like their defense. They've got Vince Dunn and Brandon Montour, but Ryan Lindgren's been pretty awful as of late. Adam Larson's really old. He still does a decent job at what he can do. And then Josh Moore and Jamie Alexiak's a really big dude, but he can shut it down. Their defense is all right, but when you go up to look at their offense, gotta love Jaden Schwartz, but it's
not the same guy anymore.
Time. No. I do like Matty Beniers. I think he's the clear best player on this team. Eberle's old. He's not what he used to be, not even a lick. McCann's pretty good. Can Shane Wright fill what he was supposed to be? I don't know. Tolvanen can score some goals from time to time. He's shaky, and then
he's so hit or miss.
Yep. And then you've got like Mason Marchment, who takes dumb penalties all the time. You don't need that.
He's a third line guy at best.
Yeah. Chandler Stephenson, who that's
overpaid.
Yeah,
overpaid.
And then their fourth line, Frederick Gaudreau, does the fourth line job fine. Then you got Ty Cartier, who for like 2 years ago at the start of the season looked like he was going to be really good, and then fell away. He went away. And I don't know who Janny Nyman is, but that's what their lines are right now. I think they're a team that puts up, 70 points, but they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I've got them at 5 for that reason. I think I'm okay with their D. Alexiak, Montour, Josh Mahura, Lindgren, I think will do better outside of New York.
Oh, and their goals.
Larson, yeah, and Vince Dunn. It's fine. It's not great, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
The offense is more where I'm worried. I am excited to see Berkeley Catton come up. Yep. That'll be fun. I think he's very underrated because he was a small guy. But I like what he brings to the table. And then I don't know if you mentioned Capo Caco looked really good once he left.
Yeah. Yep.
Once he left New York, he looked really good. He got an extension this offseason too. and then you just hope Joey Decord can hold down the fort because I don't like anything else there. I don't want Grubby or Matt Murray touching the net.
Grubauer hasn't been good in 4 years.
Well, and Matt Murray hasn't been good
No.
since he was a rookie.
Yeah.
So and that's been a long time.
Long.
So Seattle, it's the offense for me. Like you said, is Shane Wright? Can he finally take a step and do something? Um, I'm not convinced that he can. He hasn't shown it yet.
No.
I think he's going to end up turning into like a third line kind of two-way player at best at this point. Um, so I've got Seattle there. Who did you have? You had Calgary.
I had the
Do you
Flames.
have anything else on Calgary you wanted to add that we didn't mention?
They're the definition of mid. They have pieces, but it's not enough to get into the playoffs. Dustin Wolf, I think, wins them more games than they should. He looked amazing last year. Was in contention for the Calder. It's also a goalie though, so can he do it again? You look at a guy like Bennington, was outstanding.
He didn't do it the next year,
and he didn't do it the next year. So
Yeah.
the goalies who you never know. I like Matt Coronado a lot, but
Yeah, I
with the
do
pieces
too.
around him, I don't know what all they can do.
Yeah. I just like I grew up a Craig Conroy fan when he was with the Blues back in the day. So him as the GM there, I root for him to have a good tenure. I hope that they just trade Rasmus Anderson and get it over with. Unless he's willing to sign a contract and stay there, which it doesn't sound like he
I
is.
don't think he wants to lose
Um,
anymore.
No, and the worst thing that could happen to Calgary is they're just above mid to
Yep.
where they're like, maybe
can't
we
do
have a
it.
chance to sneak in, so we're going to hold on to him. That is the worst thing that could happen for that franchise.
They need
Uh,
a top prospect that isn't Parquet. I think is he on the Flames?
Correct.
Yeah, Parek. Yeah.
Zane Parekh. Yeah, and he made the roster.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing defense for him. I'm not a fan. That draft, I was a huge fan of the D because we needed one, and
Yeah.
we didn't go get the one that I wanted, and I was
Yeah.
ticked. Um, and Zane Parekh was like below even Adam Juracek for me.
Yeah.
I did not like him. I think he is a really good offensive player. I don't think he knows how to play defense, and he takes so many stupid penalties.
Yes.
He is an idiot. So it is what it is. They think he's going to be a stud. He'll put up 70 points and be a negative 30. Like I'm not. That's not my type of player.
I think we'll have
And
the
this
same
is
top three.
we probably have the same. Well, actually, I don't think we do.
Okay.
My number 4 though was Anaheim. I told you I got a little weird with it.
Yeah.
I think those young kids are going to be good, and I mean, I like who's it's not Stellarsson net. It's oh my gosh, why am
I'm
I blanking
blanking
on?
too.
Lucas Dostal. I like Lucas Dostal. I was glad that they moved on and just gave him the net because I think he was clearly the better goalie there. So I like that. I think Peter Mrazek will be a good enough backup for him.
Yeah.
And you've got some veteran experience there. But I like these young kids. Their defense is a little meh to me. I think they're going to give like a Pavel Minchikov a good look, and I think he could be dynamic for them. And I really do like that young core they have up front. I think it's going to be fun, and I think Q is going to be the guy that can right the ship, and I think that's going to be the big difference for them. I think a coach can be a huge game changer that we don't look at as much when we look at the rosters. And based on what other teams look like and just adding Q to that team, I'm going to give them a little bit of an extra bump than they probably should get. But I think they're going to be sneaky this year.
Okay.
This is where I got weird. I have Edmonton as number 3.
I have the Kings there.
I put the Kings above them, and they're probably not. Maybe this is just me wanting Edmonton to struggle this year. I just hate their goaltending. I hate Stuart Skinner. They needed to figure something out, and they didn't address it at all. they got two of the three best players in the world on their team, so that makes it easy to see them doing better.
Yeah.
But I don't like the defense. I don't like the goaltending. They're gonna win a lot of 6-5 games, and I don't like. It's gonna look a lot like the '80s Oilers, where Grant Fuhr was getting left out to dry because he was getting 17 breakaways against him a game because they were playing offense the whole time.
Yeah.
I just worry about that, but they're proven. They've been to back-to-back cups. Like they're led by McDavid, so you can't bet against them. They're probably the 2 seed. I'm giving them the 3.
Yeah.
There's just something about this LA team. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Kopitar's last ride. Um, I just I like a lot of this team. I think Quentin Byfield is turning into a very good player. Um, I like Kempe. I like Kopitar. I like Kuzmenko. Alex Laferriere has been looking very good. Alex Turcotte's finally kind of picking it up. And then they've got the random other pieces that are the good depth guys, like the Joel Armias, the Philip Deneau, the Kevin Fialas. Like, it's a deep roster. Um,
I think their defense is just a little shaky at times.
It can be, and I'm interested to see how they use it because they did move out like a Jordan Spence, and they're letting Mikey Anderson kind of take over. I hated that they signed Cody Ceci for as much as they did.
Yeah.
I don't know why that dude keeps making as much money as he does because he's not good.
Great agent.
He's got to have a great agent. I'm excited to see Brant Clark get more minutes. I was hoping they were going to move him because that's a guy I wanted. I think he's going to be very good. Drew Doughty's getting up there. I mean, he's 2 years older than me, so he's pretty old. But he's still a good player. He makes more than he should, but he's still a good player. Joel Edmonton at this point should be a third pairing guy. Brian Dumoulin, same type of thing. He's going to be that depth in the back end. And then you just hope Anton Forsberg can keep playing well.
Yep.
So again, it is the D. What are those young guys going to do? And how's the goaltending going to hold up? So it's kind of similar situation that we look at with Edmonton, except Edmonton's just so top heavy.
Yep.
So I don't know why teams just don't load up and are like, hey, we're going to shut down McDavid's line, and then you got to beat us another way.
Yeah.
But he's just so dynamic. And then I think Vegas. I think Vegas is ultimately going to win.
That's a good team.
They're going to get the most points in the Western Conference. The division's weak, and they are very good. They are very good.
They're very good. I like the Marner ad. Him and Eichel are going to be dangerous.
Oh, that's going to be filthy.
I think Shea Theodore taking over that top power play from Pietrangelo is going to be good. Who else do they have out there? Carlson, I think he's getting a little bit older, but I still love him. Mark Stone, if he stays healthy, outstanding player. He won't, but outstanding.
He'll be on LTIR. They'll circumvent the cap again. I think is it this year? Did they make it immediately go into effect? The new cap rules for it? Okay, so never mind. They can't circumvent the cap.
I mean, I love Barbashev. It's kind of a little biased from Blues, but he does everything right. Great two-way player.
He's such a good player.
Yep. I'd hate that we let him go. Hurdle on your third line never hurts. Saad gets you with the clutch goals that you need. He's not the greatest on defense from times, but he'll get you a goal if you need a goal. Dorofiev is a good young player.
Yeah, he's underrated too.
Yeah, and they've got a pretty solid fourth line there in Colasar, Sissons, and Brett Howden.
Yeah.
And their defense always is good. Their system, they don't even need great players, but their system is just shut down.
No, but you've got Theodore, Whitecloud, McNabb, and Hannafin as your top four. You're fine, and then you're probably rolling Jeremy Lazan and Caden Korzak as your third pair. Maybe Ben Hutton every once in a while.
And Aiden Hill's really solid on the back end there too.
I'm not an Aiden Hill fan. He has some good years the last year or two. There's just something about I can't get behind it still. I still remember him as the guy in Phoenix or Arizona that just was kind of meh and was hit or miss. But he's been better. There's something about him that I'm like I don't see him as a number one, and I don't like Schmid as your second.
No,
He's
I don't think.
just
Yeah, he
he
looked
had like
really good 2 years ago in the
yeah,
playoffs.
he had like a 20-game run in New Jersey where he looked good, and then he fell apart completely, and he hasn't been good since then. But yeah, this is a team that they're going to be dangerous.
Yep,
They're good. Um, they might win a cup.
they could.
I think they're that good this year. Um, and hopefully, for them that they do, because Jack Eichel is going to cost a freaking fortune this
Yep,
offseason.
yep.
All right, so I am with you. We have this. We only have three in the Pacific, maybe not in the same order, but it's not going to change matchups. LA and Edmonton are going to play each other, and that's going to be a fun series. And we have Vegas winning this one, and those
Yeah,
are the only three we have making the playoffs. And then we get to the West, or the Central and the West, and I don't know who the top five are going to be.
no. I think I know who the top one is going to be, but other than
I
that,
don't even know that I know what the top one is going to be. Um, do you have the Crap Hawks as the bottom feeders?
I do not.
No,
I've
Nashville.
got Predators there. Yep,
They looked rough last year.
they're terrible.
I just don't see them being that bad with as much talent as they have on that team this year. I think, oh my gosh, old coach who's now their GM,
Barry
old
Trotz.
Barry Trotz. I think Barry Trotz will lay down the law this offseason
Yeah,
and is going to be quick on the draw of like, this is how it's going to be. We're shipping you guys out early.
yeah.
I don't think he's going to let the ship run like it did last year. So I still have the Blackhawks there. I do think Spencer Knight looked extremely good tonight, which is a little concerning.
Yeah.
But I don't like that back end. I don't think their defense is good. Um, I I don't like who's their young kid that they have that everyone's super high on. Um,
The Blackhawks are
yeah, the Black.
Nazar.
No, defense.
Oh, Renzel.
No, I like Sam Rinzel. The other
Leshunov.
guy who drafted for him.
Levshinov.
No, Levshinov's fine. Oh, they're not. They're not even playing him. Okay, I was thinking of someone else. They're not even playing him on the roster, which is good because he's all offense and no defense, and
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Um, no, I like Sam Rinzel a lot. I like Artem Levshinov. I think he's going to be good, and I think they got a steal with Matt Grzelcyk.
Oh yeah,
Um,
he put up 40 points last year.
and he was on a PTO.
Yep.
Like that's insane. They got him for nothing.
He was on a
Um,
terrible Penguins team and put up 40
yeah.
points.
So I like him. I think Levshinov and Renzel are fine, are going to be good eventually. I think they're young. They'll have their issues. I'm not an Alex Vlasic fan. Connor Murphy is meh. Wyatt Kaiser could be solid.
Could be.
I think
There's a
he's
lot of
going
kids
to.
with that team.
I know. Like, there's a lot of young guys there. So in a few years, they could be good. And their offense is kind of a lot of the same. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of could be goods.
I hate Mikheyev and Bertuzzi. All they do is, well, Mikheyev just kind of ghosts out there. He doesn't do anything terrible. He does nothing well. And then
Yep.
Bertuzzi just dumps the puck. That's all
Yeah.
he does.
Mikheyev had that really good year in Vancouver
Yeah.
and then just was not good since then.
Nope.
I've always been a Toivo Teravainen fan
I like that.
since he was with Carolina. So it sucks that he's been with the Hawks. But it's going to be interesting with these young guys like Landon Slaggert, Lucas Reichel,
Yeah.
Frank Nazar, Oliver Moore, Colton Dock, Connor Bedard. You've got like half of your forward lineup is like 22 and under.
Yep.
For me, that just screams last place because they are so young. They do have to learn some things. Will they play defense? I like a lot of those guys, and it sucks because I think the Blackhawks have drafted extremely well the last
Yeah.
2 or 3 years. And there's a lot of guys because I do a draft podcast with Blues Fan Forum every year, the last couple of years. And every time we talk about players that I love, I'm like, these are my guys, my man crushes for the draft. And every time Chicago drafts them, it pisses me off. I'm like, stop taking my guys. Like, I love Oliver Moore. I love Frank Nazar. Like, those were two of my guys that I absolutely loved. And I'm like, come on. Like, stop doing this to me. Because I'm going to have to root against these guys. If they can keep Bedard happy and figure out how to get him to produce at the level that he should be, I think this is a team 2, 3 years down the road that's going to be dangerous,
Oh yeah.
um, which sucks. But this year, I have them finishing last. I do have Nashville right in front of them. Like I said, I just think Barry Trotz laid down the law, and he's not going to let it go like it did
Yeah.
last year. But I think those are our two basement dwellers. Like I think there's going to be a big gap. And then my sixth place, just missing the playoffs, is going to be Minnesota.
I have completely different there. I've got the Utah.
Ooh, okay. Um,
I
I'm
think
looking at my five right now that I have in the playoffs, and Minnesota's my last one not in. I could see these five in any order,
yeah.
honestly. Um, Minnesota, I like some pieces. I just don't see them getting over the hump.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a gut
Uh,
feeling. I don't. There's nothing about that team that I'm like, I hate this. It's a straight gut feeling about Utah. I think Utah makes a step this year, and I
I
think
think so too. They're a great young team. They've got a good goalie. They got great pieces in their defense. Sergachev, I think, was a massive addition for
well,
them last year, and Keller is awesome.
I love
Um,
Keller.
yeah, they're
He
young. They're a young, very fast forechecking team, and I think that bites them a little bit because the second you break that forecheck, you have a good chance going the other way. I think they're going to be good for a long time, but I think they're just a smidge still away, and it'll be
yeah.
very close. They'll miss it by like maybe less than 5 points.
Ooh, okay. Um, so the middle school I teach at is where Clayton Keller went to middle school. So
Oh,
we've
okay.
got like
Yeah.
the the old era, the Arizona jersey hanging up there with him when he was drafted. So it was pretty cool. But I I love what Bill Armstrong has done since taking over this team.
Yeah.
He had the freedom to start spending money, and he spent it wisely.
Very.
He had the balls to make some difficult trades, and I think he knocked them all out of the park.
Oh yeah.
Um, Going out this off season, and who did he pick up? He picked up. We already
Paterka.
we already talked about him. Yeah, JJ Paterka. Um, this team, like going through this roster, I think John Marino is a good defenseman.
Yeah.
Nick Schmaltz is a third line guy for you on this team. Clayton Keller is absolutely a stud. Dylan Gunther looks amazing. Brandon Tanev, again, third line guy. Dmitry Shimashev is going to get a chance on D, and he's a massive human
Yeah.
being that can skate like the wind. Like, that's going to be fun to see him figure it out. Um, Barrett Hayton never completely figured it out, but I think he's solid.
Yeah.
Um, Sean Dursey, they got was he last offseason they got
Yep. They
him and
got
he
him from the
looked really
Kings.
good. Michael Carcone looked good for him. Kyler Yamamoto started to figure it out finally.
Yep. Very good.
Lawson Krause, Carl Vajmelka, JJ Paterka, Nate Schmidt, Logan Cooley, who's a stud, and then Miguel Sergachev. Like, there's just too many pieces on this team. My only concern with them is there is a lot of new. How is that cohesiveness going to go together early on in the season? And if they dig themselves too big of a hole at the beginning, that's my only concern with this team. But man, I love what they're putting together there.
Yep.
Um, Minnesota, what do you like about them? Why are they beating out Utah?
This is the if here. If they stay healthy, they were the best team in hockey while Kaprizov was healthy last year, and then he missed a good chunk of games and they fell back down. When he's there, they are by far one of, if not the best team in this division. They have good goalie. They have an aging defense, sure, but Brock Faber's a good piece there. I think he's going to be really good for a long time. And just Kaprizov, Boldy, Rossi, I think
Erickson
Miller's
Ek.
still there too, and they are a good team. And Kaprizov, I think, coming off this massive deal, needs to prove that he's worth that much money. And
Yeah,
I think they're going. I have them at my two.
you have them at 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw what they did
Um,
last year with Kaprizov. I think he's going
yeah,
to finally play a full year.
I actually like their goaltending
Yep.
tandem. Gustafson just got a contract, and I was really high on Jesper Wallstedt when he got drafted.
He's going to be.
So I like that. I'm actually higher on their defense than you. I mean, Jared Spurgeon's getting older. So is Jonas Brodin, but I think David Juracek looked good when he came over.
Mm-hmm.
I love Brock Faber, and Zeev William is the defenseman that I wanted in that draft class, and he is a stud already. He came in at the end of last year and looked like a top pairing defenseman in the playoffs. So, I mean, and then you still have Jake Middleton and Zach Bogosian, whatever. I don't care about them, but I'm pretty high on that defense. I'm less high on their offense than you. I am concerned what they're going to do outside of that top line. Because, like, you can run. Who are you running at your 1C? Probably Eriksson Ek. So, Eriksson Ek, Boldy, and Kaprizov is your top line, and that's going to be nasty. They're going to be good. I like everything about that line. It's physical, it's gritty, and then you got Kaprizov to score a buttload of goals. But after that, I like Marco Rossi, but who's scoring goals with him? Because you've got Marcus Foligno, Ryan Hartman, Vinny Hinostroza, Marcus Young. Tarasenko's done. Don't even mention that name. I actually like the rookie that they gave a spot to, and Danila Yurov. I think he's going to be pretty talented. But then, Trennan hasn't been good. Nico Sturm's a fourth-line guy. Liam Ogren hasn't looked great, even though he's young still. Like, he didn't look great when he got some chances. I just don't see the secondary scoring, and that's my struggle with them.
I think they're a very top-heavy team, like the Oilers. They don't have a Draisaitl to go along with their McDavid, per se.
No.
But Kaprizov is a complete game changer. He's fast. He can pass. He can shoot. I want to say he can play defense, but he does his job.
He scores goals.
He scores his goals. And I think maybe not worth $17 million, maybe 15, but that's what he got, and I think he needs to prove it. And they were outstanding last year before he got hurt.
Yeah, so I've got them just out. I've got Utah just in. My 1 through 4 is where I struggled.
I've got the Avs making that 5th spot.
I originally had the Avs in the 5th spot and Utah in the 4th, and I flipped them.
I hate the Avalanche goaltending.
I despise it, and I don't know if Landeskog can stay healthy.
Yeah, no clue.
He's a Mark Stone. He just can't stay healthy. But you've got 2 of the best players in the world in Makar and McKinnon, and
they can too.
Yeah, and yeah. So they've got some really good players, but I just don't like them as a whole.
No.
They're kind of like Minnesota to me. Like, they've got some pieces and they've got a lot of things that I like, but they've got a lot of stuff I don't like. I've seen some experts picking them as the 1 seed in this division, and I just don't see it.
I don't see that either.
So I've got Colorado at my 4. I've got Utah at my 5. I got Minnesota at my 6. So if you've got Colorado at your 5, who's at your 4?
I've got the Blues at my 4.
Ooh, okay. Maybe I played a little homer here.
Yeah.
But what I saw at the end of last season and from the time Monty got there, I bumped them up a little bit. I don't have them winning yet, but I bumped them up a little bit. Why? So that leaves for you, I don't know your order yet. So if Blues are at your 4, that means that you've got, I already know Minnesota's your 2.
Yep.
That means you have Dallas and Winnipeg as your 1 and 3.
Yep.
Not particularly that order, but that's who you have. So in front of the Blues, you've got Minnesota, Winnipeg, and Dallas.
Yep.
Okay, so what about St. Louis puts them below those 3 teams?
They added some great pieces. I like Pius Suter. I like Nick Bjugstad. I think Mayu should be good. We haven't really got to see much of him.
I like what I've seen in the preseason.
Yeah, nor has a lot of the NHL, so there's guys like that. I like the Cam Fowler extension. I wouldn't really say like what the contract looks like, but I like keeping him. I think Broberg's going to take good steps. Parayko's always what he does. I wish he was a little more physical, but he does what he does. I think Bennington's going to play like he did at the end of last year. But the offense that we did have at the end of last year, I think, was unsustainable. I think we were shooting way above the league average on what our shooting percentage was. But I do see, like, it's hard with this division because any of these teams can start out slow, and you have to do another thing like we did last year, win 12 games straight, something like that, to make the playoffs, and which is, I wouldn't say out of the question, but it's a very hard thing to do. Um, I really like Thomas. I think he's finally going to break 90 points, maybe could even sneak to 100 if they play how they play. I really like Snuggerud. I think he's going to be an awesome piece of this team for a long time. Kyrou, I'm not so big on in the playoffs. I feel like he doesn't really give it his all in the playoffs. But we're talking about the regular season here, so he always 70 points. I think is 70 to 80 is a reasonable thing for him. 30 goals, maybe 50 assists, somewhere mixed in there. Maybe he cracks 40. Buchnevich had a really bad season last year.
Yeah, he did.
So we'll have to see what he does if he can bounce back. He just got his extension, I think, 2 years ago. Might have been last year. But the depth the Blues have, I think, is what makes them dangerous. You've got P.S. Suter's your third-line center. You've got Neighbors on his wing, and who would be on his other wing?
Probably Matthew Joseph.
Yeah, probably Matthew Joseph, who
For now, at least.
he plays all right. He
got a good preseason.
Yeah. He plays all right, and then whatever mix we put of Nathan Walker, Torpashenko, Bugstad on the back end there. And I like Hofer a lot. I think he's going to take steps as well. He's a big guy. He's a little shaky from time to time, but that's a thing coming in the NHL as a goalie.
Yeah.
It takes some time.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're to where they're going to be with the prospects they have. I think in a few years they're Cup contenders again.
They're going to be Cup contenders real soon. I've got the Blues at 2. I like this defense more than I liked it last year.
Oh, yeah.
You've got basically the same defense, except you're adding Logan Mailloux to it, and he's going to probably start off on that third pair with Tyler Tucker. Tyler Tucker's going to stand back there in the defensive zone and let Mailloux do his thing, and that's what he needs. And watching him in the preseason, I did not realize he was as mean as he is.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to hit everything. He fought somebody. He was in the middle of everything, and I loved it. So I'm excited for that. I think by the end of this year, he's going to end up being on that second pair, replacing Justin Falk, which will be great because that's where Falk needs to be at this point in his career. So I'm a fan of that back end. I hated trading Zach Bolduc.
Yeah, that hurts.
But you got to give to get. So as much as we're talking about how much we're excited about Mailloux, that means that Zach Bolduc had to leave, which sucks because, man, if you could have had a top 3 instead of Falk, Suter, Neighbors, Suter, and Joseph, if you could have had Bolduc on that line instead, man, that's filthy as your third line. But I think Jimmy Snuggerud is not only does he have a wicked shot, he's got some hands.
He does.
He is making some insane passes, which I didn't know that he had that type of game. So watching that was really encouraging. But I like that top line. And my thing with Kyrou is, one, that contract looks amazing right now.
Yeah, him and Thomas both are contracts.
Yeah, I mean, you can have Kyrou and Thomas for about $1 million less than Kaprizov.
Yep.
Which is crazy. But I think at the end of last year, you saw that connection between Shen, Kyrou, and Holloway.
Oh, yeah.
And they're starting off together again, and you almost beat the President Trophy. You should have beat the President's Trophy winners, and that was without Dylan Holloway, who, looking at this team, might be your most dynamic player.
Oh, yeah.
Like if Buchnevich starts slow and you end up moving Holloway up there with Thomas and Snuggerud, like they could all be 90-point players.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and that's not like overselling how good they are. Like Holloway will put up at least 30 goals this year. He might be our 40-goal scorer. He's got a good release. He's fast. He plays gritty. He both ends of the ice. Love it. So I'm still very high on this team, and I think watching the steps they took when Bannister was fired and they hired Monty to see where they were at the end of that year and how they played, and I think losing the way they did in the playoffs left a lot of hunger there. So I'm gonna give them that bump. I'm gonna be a little bit of a homer. I'm gonna put them at 2, and I have Winnipeg at 3. I have Dallas winning this
I have
division.
Winnipeg at 3 and Dallas at 1 as well.
Okay, cool. We're on the same page then. My only concern with Dallas was the new head coach, but I think with how all of the stuff went down with him and Ottinger, it had to be done.
Yeah.
I just think Dallas is a pretty complete team, top to bottom.
Yeah. I think they're my President's Trophies winner. I think,
Um,
and even in this heart of a division,
yeah,
they've got.
I've got either Carolina or Vegas. I think one of them's going to win it. Just because this division is so good.
Yeah.
But you've got Ottinger back there. You know, Dallas made a run without Miro Heiskanen last year in the playoffs. Like, that's a top 5 defenseman in the NHL, and you didn't have him, and you made a run.
Oh, yeah.
There's just so many pieces on that offense that are so good, that are sneaky underrated, that people don't talk about. And every time I watch them play, I'm just like, these guys are smooth. Like, the fact that they were talking about trading Jason Robertson like it was no big deal.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it might have been a good play. Like, they have enough offense. If they traded him for a defenseman, it might have been a good play for them.
I mean, they've got Duchesne on a steal of a contract, and he put up, I think,
took nothing.
Yeah.
Took nothing. You know, and that doesn't include, like, you still have Sagan, you still have Robertson, you have Mikko Rantanen just signed again.
Yep.
One of my favorite players in the NHL, and I hate this because he's on their team, and I think he's super underrated, is Rope Hintz. Like, I hate playing Dallas. Every time we play him, like, well, you got to watch out for Hintz. Like, that's just the guy. He's got the speed. He kills penalties. He can score. If you don't watch, he's going to get a breakaway. He just does everything right. And then they've got guys like Wyatt Johnston. And we saw what Radek Faksa was last year. Like, he's a great third-line guy. Oscar Bach's been good. Jamie Benn's going to be out a little while. Good. Can't stand Jamie Benn. But they love him there. I think he's about washed at this point. But I do worry about their defense. Like, I love Jake Ottinger in the back of the net. I think he's a stud. Liam Bichsel has looked good so far. He's going to be a huge human being back there.
Oh, yeah.
But you're rocking him,
like
Thomas
Harley.
Harley.
I like Harley.
Me, yeah, Harley's fine. He's there too. But then after Harley and Heiskanen, you're looking Esa Lindell, Nils Lundqvist, Alex Petrovich, Ilya Lyubushkin, and Liam Bichsel. Like, I like the top pair. The rest is a little suspect for me. So that's where I get concerned with them. It's just that back end. But the way they play, the system they play, which we'll see what kind of system they play this year with a new coach intact. That's gonna kind of be my only issue with them. What does it look like year one with a new coach? Who did they even hire? Glenn Gullickson. Yeah, it'll be interesting. He was an assistant for Edmonton. He ran their power play, which was filthy. So I think their offense, again, is going to be a good system. What does that D look like is my ultimate question mark with them. But I still see them being the best team in a stacked division.
Yeah.
And for me, like, looking at this playoffs, we get a St. Louis-Winnipeg rematch, and I can't wait to watch it. Or no, I have a St. Louis-Winnipeg rematch. You have you have Winnipeg and Minnesota.
Yep.
Okay. And then, yes, and that means you then have St. Louis and Colorado as your two wild cards.
Yep.
So our only real difference in the playoffs is I have Minnesota out and Utah in, and you have Minnesota in and Utah out.
Yep.
So we're very close on our stuff. Few slight changes, but we kind of see this season going the same way for the most part, which is never good because something will happen to throw a wrench in it. Yep. So before we leave, let's do our predictions. We'll do it pretty quick because we've running a little long today. So we're gonna give you our projections of who's winning each trophy. Do you want to start with most important or least important?
You can start with the most important. Started off strong.
All right. We'll start with the heart. Who's winning the MVP?
I like Kaprizov.
Oh, you're all in on Kaprizov this year.
I like Kaprizov.
Man, how do you bet against McDavid?
Yep, I have him in my second slot.
Like, my contenders, my top three, I have McDavid, McKinnon, and Kaprizov.
I have Kaprizov, McDavid, and for some reason I put Quinn Hughes there.
I'm not taking the defenseman. I think my sneaky one is going to be Kucherov also.
Kucherov,
But I think it's kind of like betting on the Chiefs. You take them until they don't win. So I'm going to take McDavid until he doesn't win.
That's fair.
He just got the contract. He's hungry. He doesn't want to go to 3 Stanley Cup finals and lose. I think he's going to put up another big year of 150 again, something stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Then after that, I'm going to say the most important, growing up as a goalie, I'm taking the Vezina.
All right. I have.
Who you got winning it?
I've got Ottinger there.
Oh, okay. Well, you've got him winning the president, so
Yep.
That makes sense. For me, I'm going to take Vashi. I think Tampa's going to have a bounce back this year. I think regular season Hellebuck might be the best goalie in hockey.
Oh, yeah. I've got him at the 2.
But it's him. Those were my 2. It was Vashi and Hellebuck, and then I've got Wolf, Binner, Bob, Ottinger as my next.
Bob is my 3.
Yeah, he's going to have to stand on his head if they're going to be good this year. Yep. So I'm going to take Vashi. I think Tampa's going to have a bounce back year, and they're going to push Toronto. Yep. And I think that's going to give him what he needs, and he's going to get back to being that best goalie on planet Earth.
Yep.
Then let's go Norris. I hate this. Okay, before you do this, I've got a disclaimer here. I hate the Norris because it's the best defenseman in the NHL, and it's never the best defenseman in the NHL.
It's the most points.
They should do a Norris for the best defenseman, and they should do oh my gosh, my brain's not working. Boston defenseman flying over the Blues goalie to win the Bobby Orr. They should have a Bobby Orr, and it should be for the best offensive defenseman because that's what this has turned into, and I don't like it. There are so many years that Victor Hedman and Alex Pietrangelo should have won this award, but because they didn't put up 80 points, had no chance of winning. So for you, since I'm going to take a stab at it here that you're going to pick Quinn Hughes to win this.
I did not pick that.
You had him in your heart conversation and you didn't pick him?
But I don't know why he was there. I think I had a filler there and I forgot about it. I think I'm heavy on the Blue Jackets. I think it's Werenski's year.
Oh, I love it. Zach Werenski's my sneaky number 4.
Yep.
I love Zach Werenski. I loved watching him play for Team USA in the juniors. I'm like, this kid's going to be a stud, and he's turning into that right now. My other sneaky one, I don't think he wins it, but I think he takes the step to put his name in the conversation, is Lane Hudson.
Yep.
I think he's going to take a big step. But for me, my guys are Makar, Hughes, Werenski, and Heiskanen are my big 4. And I can't pick Hughes with how bad that team is going to be. So I'm going to take Cale Makar. I'm going to take the obvious one. But my sneaky dark horse, because if what you said happens and Dallas wins the Presidents, Miro Heiskanen might be right up there.
Yep.
Then let's do the Calder. Everyone likes Rookie of the Year.
Yep. I hate saying it, but I think Demidov takes it over Snuggerud.
I'm giving it to Jimmy Snuggerud.
Yeah, it could go either way. I think Demidov is, I would say, a higher skill player, but
100%.
Snuggerud, I think, has really good finishing. Really good.
I think Ivan Demidov is pure skill and talent. He's gonna be a human highlight reel, and we're gonna see a lot of him. And that might ultimately be what pushes him over the top. But I think whenever we don't look at the highlights and voters sit down and they look at the numbers, I think Jimmy Snuggerud playing on the top line with Robert Thomas is going to give him 60-plus points this year. And if you put up 60 points, you're going to be in that top two. And if Demidov if he puts up 30 goals but like 10 assists, and Snuggerud's like a 30-30 guy, I think that can ultimately seal it for him. Yeah. So he might be a little bit of an underdog here, but I'm taking Jimmy Snuggerud. And my dark horse pick here is going to be Ryan Leonard and Zeev Buium.
My dark horse pick is, I think, a little bit different. I picked Alexander Nishkin, the Carolina.
Nishkinen? Okay, I had him on my list as well.
Yeah. I mean, look what he did in the KHL. That's not an easy league to play in.
No,
as a defenseman. He had 46 points and 56 points in 2 seasons there. So
yeah, my only other kind of dark horse pick for this was I added Zane Parekh to the list. I don't like him as a player, but I think if he's a defenseman that puts up like 50 points, he's going to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
No matter how bad he is on defense.
Agreed.
I think the next one that we'll talk about is Selke.
I've got Rob Thomas.
Robert Thomas, baby. This is his year with Alexander Barkov going down.
Yep.
I looked at the list, and I'm like, who's going to win this? I'm like, Marner's not good enough defensively. I don't think Eichel's good enough defensively.
I've got Rob Thomas, Nico Hischier, who I do like, and then I have Suzuki in that third slot.
Okay. I had Thomas, and then I have Hischier, Reinhart, and Cirelli.
Yep. Cirelli's a good one, yeah.
So I think with Barkov going down, it really opened up the door. And I think Thomas has been knocking on it, and I think he's going to just kick the crap out of it and take it over.
I think he's going to have a monster year.
He's going to put up 90 points plus, and he is one of the best two-way players in hockey.
Oh, yeah.
And I think people seeing him in the playoffs last year is going to help with this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think people realized how good he was defensively.
No.
All right, let's do the Rocket. Most goals. Who's putting it up this year?
Once again, Kaprizov. I as my 2 and Pasta is 3.
Okay, I had Draisaitl 1, Kaprizov is 2.
Yep.
But I think it could go either way. And then I have Matthews and Pasta as the next one. I do have one sneaky one that I really like. I've got Tage Thompson in my top 5.
That's not a terrible pick.
Buffalo's going to suck, but he's going to put up 50 goals.
He's the shining star there.
Yeah. Would love to have him back, but we'll keep the cup.
Yeah.
All right, what about Art Ross? Who's putting up the most points this year?
Kucherov.
I told you already, I think Connor McDavid's putting up 150, so I'm taking McDavid. I think Kucherov's going to be right up there.
I've got McDavid in my 2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a battle between those two, and I think that you need to talk about Eichel and Marner here as well. I think them playing together is going to give them a high point total. I don't necessarily think one's going to score a buttload of goals over the other.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to put up 110, 120.
Yep.
Let's see. What am I missing here? Jack Adams. Who's winning Coach of the Year?
So this kind of ties in with my picks as well. I have 3 here, and I don't know which one's my favorite. I've got Jim Montgomery for the Blues, Martin St. Louis, Canadiens. I think they're going to have a year. And then this is who I think should win it, Dean Evison of the Blue Jackets.
Blue Jackets, yeah.
I'm heavy on the Blue Jackets this year. I think with the team they have and making the playoffs, I think he has a good chance of winning that.
I also don't like the Jack Adams Award because I feel like every year it goes to the coach that took a team that was supposed to be terrible and made them kind of average.
Yep.
Like they just overperformed how bad they were supposed to be, and it doesn't go to the coach that's ultimately the best coach.
Yeah.
Like last year, I think it went to someone deserving, but I think if you being the Blues homer that I am, you looked at where the Blues were without Monty to where they were with him.
Yeah.
He should have been right there with it. And I think because what happened last year, he basically has taken himself out of the conversation.
Yeah.
As good as he is, I think he talked himself out of this conversation by being as good as he was last year, and people just expect them to be that now.
The Capitals won it last year.
Yes, and he deserved it.
Yeah.
I have Marty St. Louis on my list. because of how I feel like this award goes, I have Rick Tocchet on my list with Philly,
Yep.
just because they're supposed to be terrible, and I think Tockett's a great coach, and I think he'll pull them up a little bit. But the only reason I have him on there is because of how voting usually works with this award. But my three that I have also Dean Evison on my list. I have Coach Q on my list. And I have Andre Tourigny. I can't say his name. He's French, and he's the coach of the Utah. But I think ultimately where they all end up, I do have Columbus finishing in the playoffs. I have Utah finishing in the playoffs. I have Anaheim finishing just out of the playoffs. So based on that, it's going to be between Evison and Tourigny for me, and I'm going to take Andre Tourigny. I think Utah's going to take a huge step, and I think seeing where they were last year to where they're going to be this year ultimately gives him that edge.
Yep.
Well, we are officially underway the NHL season. We've got 2 games in the books now. While we were talking, Pittsburgh finished the shutout, got an empty netter, won 3-0 over the Rangers. And right now, my TV shut off. But LA is playing against Colorado. So as soon as I get off here, I'm going to go flip on some more hockey because I'm pumped. It's going to be a fun season. We're going to have lots to talk about. We're going to see who's right here. So if you agree or disagree with our takes, give us your votes. Who you think is going to win these awards in the comments. Let's have an argument about it because I like to argue. I'm Cody. That's Julian. Until next time, see ya.